Hello, and welcome to 108 with AJK. Last week, we finished our infield rankings for 2026 fantasy baseball. This week, we'll be doing outfield. For outfield, I've divided the list into two parts. I'll be ranking the top 30 instead of the top 15. Of course, generally, you have more outfield slots on a fantasy team than you do other positions, so I think it makes sense to rank the top 30 instead of the top 15. So that being said, let's move on with our part 1 outfield list. Number 30, we have Michael Harris II. Michael Harris II had pretty terrible first halves the last 2 years, and so it started to seem like maybe he was just a guy who took half the year to figure things out. But as it turns out, he actually made some pretty significant changes to his swing halfway through the year last year and his pre-swing stance, and the results were quite a bit better in the second half. So the first half he hit just 210 with a 551 OPS, and the second half he hit 299 with an 845 OPS. So if you take his second half numbers and extrapolate them over a full season, you get 32 home runs, 96 RBI, 75 runs, 180 hits, and 18 stolen bases. So that being said, if he can continue that kind of production for a full season, he will end up a lot higher than number 30. We'll see where he ends up at the end of next year. Number 29, we have Riley Greene. Riley Greene, I think it's pretty well documented, has an extreme uppercut swing, and he strikes out a lot. In fact, he led the American League with 201 strikeouts last year. Of course, the positive in all that is that he also hit 36 home runs with 111 RBIs, both of which were career highs, and he will just be 25 years old next year in 2026. So if he can cut down on those strikeouts even a little bit, he could be a lot better next year. But that being said, if he does not cut down on those strikeouts and he does not hit as many home runs, he will not be nearly as valuable. As of now, I have him at number 29. Number 28 is Addison Barger. We talked about Addison Barger on the third base list because he will have eligibility for both positions. He had a little bit of a breakout last year, but he faded in the second half. He's not very good against lefties, and he doesn't have a very good on-base percentage, but when he does hit the ball, he hits it very hard, and we could see him continue to make improvements next year. With Addison Barger, you're betting on some progression, so there is some risk with this pick, but as I said, he does hit the ball very hard and could end up having a big year. Number 27, we have Alec Burleson of the St. Louis Cardinals, another guy who we talked about on one of the other lists. This time it was first base, so he will have first base and outfield eligibility next year. Like I said on the first base list, he's a guy who I don't expect a ton from, but he has a low downside, so he is somebody who you can plug into your lineup, maybe if you missed out on some of the bigger names, and he probably won't really hurt you anywhere. Not a real exciting pick, but here he is at number 27, Alec Burleson. Number 26, maybe a slightly controversial pick, Ramon Laureano. And it's because he turned 30 years old last year, and he had a very good year, but it's really the first year he's had a year like that. I did a little research, and it seems he did make some very significant changes to his swing before the year. I don't want to get into all of it because it was a lot, but you can Google it and read all about it. He made a lot of changes to his swing, and his underlying metrics were all quite good. So I expect his excellent results from last year to continue, and he comes in here at number 26, Ramon Laureano. Number 25, Kerry Carpenter. Now, a lot of these guys lower in this list here do have some warts, and Kerry Carpenter's wart is that he does not hit lefties well, and he probably won't play against lefties. So against left-handed pitching last year, he hit just 217 with a 238 on-base percentage. Not good, obviously. He did hit 26 home runs in 464 plate appearances, which is a 37 home run pace over a full season. Of course, he's not going to get that because people are going to throw lefties against him. In fact, if you watch Tigers games, it seems like a lot of the opposing manager's strategy has to do with pitching around Kerry Carpenter and making sure he faces a lefty somewhere in the game to either knock him out of the game or prevent him from coming into it. So anyway, he's a dangerous hitter, but he's not good against lefties, and that's why he comes in here at number 25, Kerry Carpenter. Number 24 is Brent Rooker. Now, I continue to believe that 2024 was probably his career year with 39 home runs, 112 RBI, and he hit 293. Probably not going to do that again. He does not have great plate discipline, but he does hit the ball very hard. He doesn't have the extreme platoon splits like some of these other guys lower on the list have. He's getting a little bit older as he'll be 31 next year. The Athletics, of course, will still be playing in the minor league park, so he could rack up some big home run totals, but I don't expect him to hit 293 again. That being said, he's an excellent power hitting outfielder, and you can certainly do worse than Brent Rooker at number 24. Number 23 is Jarren Duran of the Red Sox. He's kind of a doubles machine. He led the major leagues with 48 doubles in 2024, and he had 41 last year. He also led the major leagues in triples with 14 in 2024, and he led the American League with triples in 2025 with 13. So kind of a doubles, triples guy more than a home run guy, and he kind of strikes out a lot for somebody who's not a big home run hitter. But that being said, he's had excellent numbers the last couple of years. He's a good on-base percentage guy, and as more of a gap hitter and less of a home run guy, he might be a little bit better in points leagues. But here he is at number 23, Jarren Duran. Number 22 is Pete Crow-Armstrong. Now, I think some people have him ranked a lot higher on their lists, and I'm not sure what they're looking at. I can only imagine it's the first half of last year when he played at an MVP level, but then after the All-Star break, he was kind of barely replacement level, if that. So it's hard to say which one you're going to get. The truth is probably somewhere in the middle. At the end of the year, he did end up with 31 home runs and 95 RBI, so pretty good, but he looked so bad in the second half that it's kind of scary to think what it could look like if he starts out the year like that. There's a lot of possible variation in the outcome you're going to get, I feel like, with Pete Crow-Armstrong, and it's hard to predict at this point. According to my model, he comes in at number 22, Pete Crow-Armstrong. Number 21 is Jo Adell. I know Jo Adell is somebody who has frustrated fantasy players in the past with his lack of fulfilling his potential, but he did hit 37 home runs last year, so maybe he is finally reaching that potential at 26 years old in 2025. He's probably going to hurt you in batting average. He does not usually have a great one. If you've got Jo Adell in your lineup, it's because you're looking for home runs from him. If he's not hitting home runs, he's not going to be very valuable. So you're hoping on a progression from his last couple of years, home run totals of 20 and 37. If he's close to 40 home runs, obviously that has a lot of value in fantasy. So that's why I have him here at 21, Jo Adell. Number 20 is George Springer. Kind of a risky pick, as he had a wonderful season last year, but he will be 36 years old in 2026. So it's a little bit hard to predict if he's going to be able to sustain that level of production or to stay on the field all year with no injuries. His OPS plus was 161 last year, which means he was 61% better than league average. I dinged him quite a bit in my model for age and injury concerns, and he still ranks at number 20. But again, some risk with number 20 in George Springer. Speaking of risk, number 19, Byron Buxton, another guy who defied his injury checkered past to have an excellent 2025. He stayed on the field for most of the year, although he still just played in 126 games. He was able to hit 35 home runs with 83 RBI, although he did strike out kind of a lot with 148, which was the second highest total of his career. 126 games played was the most games played for Byron Buxton since the 2017 season when he played 140. He's had a real hard time staying on the field, but he's obviously a real talented player when he does stay on the field. So kind of a risky pick, and I dinged him in my model for injury concerns, or he would appear higher on this list, but I can't really rank him any higher than this with his injury checkered past, and so that's why you see him here at number 19. Number 18 is Tyler Soderstrom. We talked about him a little bit on the first base list. He will have first base eligibility. He hit 25 home runs and 24 doubles as a 23-year-old. Obviously, that's very impressive, and you're betting that he can continue with his progression. He's kind of another guy who's more of a doubles or gaps guy than a home run guy at this point in his career. He needs to improve his pull air rate. He's got good bat speed, and he hits the ball hard. So at just 24 years old next year, let's see what Tyler Soderstrom can do. Number 17, we've got Oneil Cruz. I think many people have Oneil Cruz lower on their list than this, but I still want to believe. He does still swing very hard. He's 100th percentile in bat speed and average exit velocity, but that being said, he kind of has a problem with swinging at everything and striking out a lot. He had 174 strikeouts last year, 181 the year before that, and of course he kind of famously only hit 200 last year. So I have to believe he's going to hit higher than 200 next year, and even with doing so, he still had 38 stolen bases and 20 home runs. So he's definitely going to get you some categories totals. Just a matter of how much he's going to frustrate you along the way, and can he finally put it together, strike out a little less, and become the sort of MVP level player he looks like he could be if he does put it all together. And as we come to the end of the first part of the outfield list, it's number 16, Kyle Stowers. Kyle Stowers was having a fantastic year last year before he got injured. He injured one of his obliques and then I guess injured the other one as he was trying to come back, but that's not expected to impede him for next year. And if you extrapolate his numbers last year over a full season, it would be 38 home runs, 108 RBI, 92 runs, and 178 hits. We kind of started out this list by extrapolating numbers with Michael Harris II, and I'll do so again here with Kyle Stowers. In both cases, those are excellent full season lines. Kyle Stowers hits the ball very hard, but he will likely need to improve his plate discipline. He was in the 6th percentile of whiff percentage and the 10th percentile of K percentage last year, so obviously neither one of those are great, but when he did hit the ball, he did so very hard, and he did have a total of 25 home runs and 73 RBI last year, even while missing significant time and only played in 117 games. So Kyle Stowers, I expect him to continue to be very good next year, and that's why he comes in here at number 16. I'll be continuing with part 2 of my outfield list later this week. I hope you'll join me. I hope you'll like and subscribe, and I'll see you down the road.